What's up guys, happy Friday and welcome to Facebook Friday. Eric Hamlin here of the Orange Stack. Thanks for joining us every single morning, 10 a.m. Not every single morning, every single Friday morning, 10 a.m. as we talk about how to grow your business, give you the strategies that it's gonna take for you to succeed as a real estate agent. Guys, I'm so excited for this topic. This is a fun one. We're talking about being an influencer in your community and how you can really resonate with the people that you wanna work with and get them to come to you, to wanna work with you, to know that you're the expert in everything that you teach. So let's jump into today's show as we get into Facebook Friday. Hey guys, and welcome. Today is Facebook Friday. We show you guys how to grow your business, how to do more with technology, and just how to do some awesome things with what's available in today's marketplace.
I want to have to go work for a company. I want to do my own thing and have my own potential and have my own flexibility of doing that thing.
That if you don't live by your calendar, you don't have a life. So focus on that calendar and live by it. All right guys, welcome back. Thanks again for being here. Friday mornings live at 10 a.m. Pacific as we go broadcast this from our Facebook Friday, from our, can't talk about it, Facebook channel, The Orange Stack. Guys, we have been doing this episode now for 119 weeks. Man, I'm struggling to talk today. This is gonna be a rough show. Anyway, we've been doing this show for a while. I appreciate you guys showing up. We've had thousands of views. It's just incredible the direction that this show's gone and what we've been able to do for our community. What I decided was, look, what happened, I went to a Tony Robbins event a long time ago. It was probably 6 years ago, I would say. And I saw Tony on stage for the first time and he was speaking to like 10,000 people, right? And he's just demanding this awesome experience that we had, just run the place. I mean, if you've never been to a Tony Robbins experience, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but he's a beast. I mean, he'd go live like without a bathroom break for like 13 hours straight. These events usually get over at like 2 or 3 in the morning. That's like going to a concert for just like 4 straight days. It's incredible. And it's not all just rah, rah, rah. Like you learn a ton, you're motivated, you're educated, you're inspired, you're just driven to who this guy is. And I remember after going to my first Tony Robbins event thinking, this guy's insane, he's amazing, and he has such this captive audience, right? Like 10,000 people from so many different areas of life. You've got, you know, brand new people to business, you got people who've been doing business for 50 years, you've got millionaires in the audience, you've got, I spent my last penny getting here people in the audience, just a wide variety of people. And what happened is I kind of took the moment in for a second, probably around day 2 or 3, and I just looked around and I thought, this is incredible. This one guy who has just such a vast life experience, right? I mean, he came from such humble beginnings, like crazy beginnings. His mom was crazy. His like experiences in life as he was raised were just unbelievable. I mean, had nothing at one point in time and spent his last 20 bucks feeding somebody else that he had. And just, that's kind of where his passion for feeding other people came from. But just to see where he came from so long ago and the influence that he has and the impact on other people's lives right now, it really doesn't matter what type of business you're in, there's something that you can benefit from this guy. And I remember being there and just thinking, this is incredible. Like this guy has such an influence on people's lives. He can bring them such good and positive things, and he's helping them achieve things that they've never been able to do on their own and help them overcome mental blocks and really just build this incredible life that they desire. And after being able to attend several events and getting to know Tony on a more of a personal level, it's amazing to see the person that he is and the influence that he has on people's lives. And I think at that moment, at that first time I saw him, I realized that this was something that I wanted to do. And I know that I could work my whole entire life to become like Tony, and I would never be able to be his caliber and his capacity because of the things that he's gone through and the experiences in his life. And we're just on different phases of life, and that's okay, right? Like I can set my dreams for trying to do something like that. But what I realized is that he's got this incredible ability to help people and overcome their challenges in life. And I saw that resonate with me in my life. And I wanted to be able to do the same thing. I wanted to help the people that I work with go through struggles. I wanted to help them get their business to the levels they wanted to. I wanted to help them over the roadblocks and the hurdles that are holding them back. And while I realized that Tony's got this wide variety of an audience, right? You've got dentists and chiropractors and real estate agents and attorneys and just everybody, like every small business owner you can imagine is in this audience. And the people that you meet there are incredible, and their experiences that they've been through in their life are incredible. And he has an ability to reach everybody. And I know that when he was brand new into his business and he was starting to help people, there's no way that he could reach everybody. He had to really narrow down and say, this is who I want to affect and this is how I want to help them, and then start to expand and go wider from there. When I first got into our business, I realized that I have been called to the real estate industry. I love real estate. It's just in my blood. I've been in real estate now for over a decade and I love every piece about it. I love buying and selling properties. I love working with homeowners. I love helping the real estate agent through the struggles that they have. I love like dissecting the business and seeing how to get your message out there and really just trying to figure out the nuts and bolts of real estate. And it's just such a fun experience for me. And that's the direction that I wanted to go. And then a little while into it, I started to get wider and I thought, okay, well, we're going to start working with other business owners and we're going to start helping other people in this industry besides just real estate. And I realized that my message didn't resonate with everybody, and that's okay. And I'm here to tell you that I am not perfect. I do not know the perfect path to get to anywhere. I know that I am exploring this journey and that every day I'm learning something new and trying something new, and I'm bringing this experience back to you. That's what I try to share with you every single week after week, is the tools that I'm learning, the processes that I'm learning, the way that I can help tell a story better and just help you guys get your message out there better. I think that there's nobody who's got it perfect, right? There's nobody who's got the perfect solution that's going to solve everybody's problems, but by continuing to do it every day and learn and experience and go through some of these things day after day after day, you're going to be able to give this advice. And that's what I'm doing. I'm literally in the trenches with you, trying to figure out how to get my message out there and help you guys do the same thing. And so as I scaled for a while and I grew and I tried to reach more audiences, I realized that as you speak to everybody, you really speak to nobody. And that may be kind of hard to put together in your own business, but let me just put it this way. If you're in real estate and you're selling homes to a community, right? There's certain types of homes in that community that you can connect with, right? You can connect with the new first-time home buyer, or you can connect with the townhouse owner, or you can connect with the young family who's working on their second kid and trying to expand into maybe a new neighborhood that has bigger homes. Or you can connect with the retiring individual who's been working for 40 years and saying, you know what, it's time to hang up the hat and do something different. We want a simpler life. You can connect with each of these people on different levels, just like Tony did with lots of different industries. But if you try to speak to all of them at the same time, that message that you have to share isn't going to resonate with all of them. If you just say, look, I can help you sell your house, it's too general and they're not going to necessarily trust you or believe you or know that you specifically can help them sell their house. But if you go to that first-time home buyer and you say, you know what, when I was a first-time home buyer, I remember struggling with trying to figure out how to get a mortgage. I didn't know what documents I needed. I didn't know how much I could afford. I didn't even know who paid for what. I didn't know what the real estate agent did. I didn't understand how to inspect the home and who to hire and all these things, right? And I was confused and lost, but this is how I solved that problem. And this is how I overcame that challenge. And this is how I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this process. You see how that now connects to that individual and they can trust you and say, oh my gosh, we are the same. We relate to each other. We're on the same level. We can communicate. You know my problems. You're going to help me through this. And they can feel like this experience is going to go their way and that you're going to be able to solve that problem. However, if you use that same text and that same verbiage and you went over to the 65-year-old individual who's going to retire and you said, you know what, I understand where you are, Mr. Homeowner, and you've owned this home forever and you've been working for 40 years and all that. I understand what it's like to be a first-time home buyer and I know what it's like to get a mortgage and I know all the questions that you're going to ask. You're not speaking his language. You're giving him advice that has no relevance to him at all. He's not a first-time home buyer. He's not trying to qualify for a new mortgage. There's a good chance he has his home paid off and he's trying to take that equity and live off some of it and go buy something a little bit simpler, right? But if you craft a message saying, you know what, when you go to retire, you're going to need money for the rest of your life to live off of. Let's figure out how to buy the best home for you right now that'll probably be your lifetime home that you can be comfortable in, that, as you age and things progress, you might need a single level home so that you can get a wheelchair in here or people can help you get around. Maybe you need something that has a little less yard maintenance so you don't have to worry about mowing the grass, whatever it is, right? You speak directly to that person. That message is now going to resonate with them. And again, if you back up and say, I help everybody sell real estate, it doesn't help everybody. But if you get down to their level and communicate in a way that makes sense for them, you can impact their lives and you can touch them in a way that they know that they can trust you and that you can help them through this battle of trying to figure out how to buy or sell a house, right? So when you figure out what industry, or not industry, which part of the niche you're going to work in, am I working with first-time home buyers? Am I working with retiree couples? Am I working with move-up buyers or move-down buyers or investors? You've got to craft that message. And yeah, you may have experience with all of them and you may be able to work with all of them, but again, you have to write a specific message to each of them. So I'd implore you, as you kind of look into your business this week, of really understanding who's your ideal client. When we were selling real estate full time, we kind of took an audit of the last 100 transactions that we had been a part of. And I was saying, okay, who do we help? Like, who's our client? Obviously, I want to help everybody and I want to take over this county and sell as many homes as they can. But if I try again to speak to everybody, no one's going to want to resonate with that message because everybody's in a different position. I mean, we've got multi-million dollar homes in our area that are $30+ million. And we've got double wide trailers in parts of the county that are worth $100,000. And if I put the same message out there and tried to speak to both those individuals, it wouldn't resonate and it wouldn't help either of them because I'm just right in the middle, right? I'm not helping anybody. So figure out who your ideal client is. Who's the majority of sellers or buyers in your area that you can communicate? And you can't even lump those two people into the same category. You've got to keep them separated too and say, okay, what does the number one seller look like in my county? What does 80% of the transactions look like? For us, it was about a $650,000 to $700,000 house, and they were the sellers, okay? And obviously, for every house that sells, there's a house that buys, but that's a different story. Let's talk about the sellers right now, because that's who you primarily want to work with. So I said, okay, the average price, like 80+% of the homes that sell in this area are $650,000 to $700,000. That's who we want to target. What do these homeowners look like? Well, the majority of people who own those homes who were actually selling in the market that we were working in, they were between the ages of 70 and 75 years old. And sure, there's 85-year-olds and sure, there's 40-year-olds who are selling that same type of home, but that's what the majority of people made up. They had owned their home for 13 years on average. They mostly had their home paid off. There's a couple people obviously in that group that had mortgages, but most of them had that home owned free and clear. Most of their homes were original. When they bought it from 13 years ago, they didn't do anything when they bought it and they hadn't done anything since they bought it. So they were original homes, meaning that they needed work, they needed a new kitchen, they needed to be painted, the windows needed to be replaced, things like that. We knew usually within a couple mile radius where these chunks of homes were from the areas that we worked to. So I knew exactly who to market towards, exactly the problems that they had. They had an old dated house that they couldn't sell because it needed some work and people wanted a nice clean turnkey house. I knew that these people at 74 years old, 75 years old, were probably not buying a bigger home. They were probably gonna go buy something simpler, right? They're gonna move into an assisted living house. They were gonna buy a 2-bedroom condo, maybe a townhouse, probably something new that didn't need any work. And oftentimes they would move out of state too. So the message that we crafted that resonated with them was how to sell their house for more money and how we were gonna help them buy a new property in the county so that they could avoid the property tax increase when they went to sell. And the message just worked for them. It connected with them and they knew that they could trust us because we spoke their language, okay? So when you craft a message like that, you win every single time and people are gonna trust you. Now, that was primarily who we wanted to work with and who we did work with, and it brought us tons of business, right? We were one of the top 3 teams in our county year over year, and it worked really, really well. We could have gone and said, okay, what do the first-time home buyers look like and how can we connect with them? And what do the 40-year-old buyers who are having a second kid or a third kid look like and how can we connect with them? And reach out to everybody. But that chunk alone was a good enough business for us. We could cover just as many houses as we needed to. We usually sold about 250 homes per year with that type of business. So you got to look at your area and the area that you work in your county and state and whatever region that you want to cover and say, what do the sales that are happening? Not who do I want to work with? Because so many of you are like, well, I want to work with the $1 million homeowners. Sure, in some counties or in some areas of the world, there are only maybe 6 of those that sell for the entire year. So if you want to sell 6 homes per year and that's your goal, you can have it. But for the majority of you, you probably want to sell, 40, 50, 60, maybe even 100 homes this year. And so if that's the case, you got to find out where this majority of homes are selling. Go back to the MLS and say, okay, what do the last 100 transactions look like? What's the majority, the average price home in our area selling for? Now, how do I figure out who owns these homes? Go back to, you can basically go to websites like peoplesearch.com and find out the address of the homes that sold, do a little bit of research, find out their age and what they look like, right? What does that avatar look like that you can build out? And now you got to craft a message that speaks to them. Are they, again, buying a bigger house? Are they buying a single family house, moving from a townhouse? Are they selling their big house and buying a smaller house? What is going on in their life? And now craft a message specifically for them. Again, when you are a niche down industry expert, you're going to have so much more experience. So many of you guys guys that I work with on a one-to-one basis, when we start working together, one of the first things I ask you is, tell me about your business. Who do you work with? And your answer is, oh, we work with everybody. We'll sell condos and mansions and single family houses, and I'll do commercial if I have to. And heck, I even will sell a boat if I need to. Like, you'll just try to do everything. And because of that, your message won't resonate with anybody. So let's really figure out how we can help you niche down, figure out who that specific audience is, how you're gonna communicate with them, the words that you're gonna say to them that will trigger that light bulb to go off and say, this is the real estate agent that works for me, right? It's not necessarily gonna be the local expert who sells all the homes in that area. It's gonna be you, because you speak the words that are going to help that client know that you're the best one for them, the best one positioned to help them, because you're the expert of their situation. You understand them, okay? So that's my message. It's pretty short today. I think that as you figure this out, it may take a little bit of time. It took us about a month and a half to really go through the data and really analyze who we were ideally positioned to work with. And then it took us another 6 months to craft this perfect message that resonated with this audience. Because once we understood that our audience was 70 to 74 years old, then we could really get the gears turning. We had to hire a copywriter. We really crafted a message that stuck with them. We A/B tested a ton of stuff, like mailer after mailer after mailer, and we really figured out who we were trying to reach. Again, just because your audience is, well, let me put it this way. Just because you may want to communicate via mail or Facebook or radio ads or podcasts or however you want to get your message out there, maybe even want to pick up the phone, that may not be where your audience is. And that's a big part of it. If you realize that, look, my audience is 70 to 75 years old and they're downsizing and they're selling this house to get out of being a homeowner, and maybe they want to even rent after this, you never know. They may not be on Facebook. They may not open the mail. They may not listen to the radio. They may be in a very specific niche of content consumption, right? And that's what you also got to find out. Ours open the mail. Ours love to open the mail and read through flyers, and they loved free things. So the best way for us to communicate with them was to bring them to a live event and feed them dinner for free. And that just won them over. Our conversion rate was massive because of that. But maybe your audience listens to Rush Limbaugh on a podcast, or maybe they only consume their news through Facebook, or maybe they watch the real news, or maybe they listen to a specific channel on AM radio. You've got to figure that out, and you've got to understand where they are. And as you get to know your avatar and who they are and how you can communicate with them best, you become that expert. So remember, Tony, when you start out, you've got to be very niche specific, and then you can widen out. Once you figure out that one pocket that you want to advertise to, the one deal client that you're looking for to work with that makes up the majority of the audience, then you can decide, look, is it big enough to go cover this area too and that area too? Or maybe that one niche that you covers 80% of the sales that happen in your county. Maybe it's only a third of the audience and you can pick up another 25% of it somewhere else, right? But you've got to decide, who am I going to start with and how can I build from there? So don't just go after what you want to work with and the big houses that you want to sell. Target the majority of transactions that are happening in your farm right now. Okay, so that's my message. Again, if you want to get deeper into this, I'd love to talk with you one-on-one and see how we can help you explore what that option looks like and really tailor your message to somebody that's going to be in your ideal client list. And if you go to our website, check out our links. We're happy to set up a free consultation with you guys and talk to you for 30 minutes about your marketing and what you're struggling with and how you can, again, resonate with your clients and your prospects and take them to the next level and want to work with you one-on-one. So go visit our website, which is basically tosmarketing.com, TOS being the orange stack. And that's what we have to offer today. So again, another short show, but thanks for being here. Happy November 1st for all you guys. And hope your end of your third quarter is wrapping up well, or fourth quarter is wrapping up well, and you guys are enjoying your holiday seasons. And we will find our outro and call it quits. Until next Friday, guys, happy week and enjoy.